Now I'm going to go back to my tweet because I think that my tweet is important to talk about as well. First of all, here's my tweet. I deleted it so you guys can look at it in all its glory. So obviously, first of all, I didn't make this meme. I found this meme, and so I think that's it's not that important, honestly, but I think it is. It's relevant. What I want to say about it is a couple of things. So one, first of all, I'm autistic. I also have ADHD. I'm not. I guess how do I say? I'm not ableist. Like I'm not, I guess that doesn't automatically mean that, but like, I'm not, anyone that knows me knows that I'm not trying to discriminate against, disabled people. Like, that's obviously, that's not my intentions whatsoever, first of all. Second of all, I last, literally a year ago, less than a year ago, all of Twitter was up in arms, retweeting, celebrating, lighting off fireworks when Nicolas Cantu was the slur-slinging slasher. The slur-slinging slasher. He was calling me every word in the book. He was tweeting out stuff. He called an Uber driver many things that were terrible, slurs. And during that process, many people, including Tommy's friends, many of Tommy's close friends, and including people that you may not know this, but like Jack and Nicolas Cantu, good buddies. They were great friends. I'm sure he doesn't want you knowing that because of what happened after that, but that was also something that adjusted my opinion of Jack back then, was that I was like, wow, how are these guys friends? Like, who is this guy's terrible, right? So then of course that's going to adjust my thoughts on like Jack. But anyway, these people supporting, retweeting tweets that, say, call me, slurs in them, so on and so forth. Now that's not me saying, oh, everyone else did it, therefore it's okay, right? People also are taking my words as that. That's not what I'm saying. First of all, I'm still to this day, but I have, after watching what Tubbo said later, I'm less confused, honestly. But I genuinely, after I was getting shit on for using this word, was confused, because the same people that are literally in my replies getting mad at me for using the word had in the past said, hey, Dream, you can't critique Nicolas Cantu for doing this because he's neurotypical, because he's neurodivergent, because of this and that. Now, this is a word that's not in my vocabulary. This is a word that I don't use. This is a word that I think that generally, and I've said this before, I think that content creators and people in general should avoid using words that their audience could find offensive, just because of that. The bigger of an audience you have, or the more people you interact with, if a word is going to, no matter what the word is, even if it's not, regarded as a slur, if it's something that's going to upset your audience or the audience you're talking to, you should not use it. In the same way that if there is a streamer or a YouTuber that makes family-friendly content and doesn't want you using curse words in their videos and hasn't told you privately that that's okay and is actually upset by it, you also should not use those words, because those, obviously not as bad as slurs, but they are words that make the particular audience that is being put out to uncomfortable. That's it. I think that's been my opinion. That will always be my opinion. I didn't change my opinion by making this tweet. Obviously, one, it's a meme that I found, and two, I don't know, people are, in my mind, I said before, giving double standards, which I think is totally fine. You don't want, if it's never okay to say the word, or if, obviously you're, in this case, like people said, you're using it as an insult towards people, and you don't, if you're using it as an insult towards a group of people, then you shouldn't use it like that. That's fair. That's totally fair. And I understand why people, I understand why people would be upset by it. I had no intention of upsetting disabled people. My intention was maybe not upsetting, but I guess, attacking part of Tommy's audience that still to this day are the congregation of the worst Dream SMP stands that are left standing, that all congregated to Tommy because he puts up with and allows and supports people that spread lies and attack other creators. They still spread pedophile allegations and lies about me and other streamers that have far less, of a platform than me, that could really have, like, I am so lucky to be in the position I am, where I have the platform I have to be able to respond to the allegations and be able to have people actually see my response. Most people, if you get a false allegation made about you, you don't have a platform big enough to have enough people see it to where you can actually like live your normal life and not have people shout at you on the side of the street or attack you or whatever because they think you're a pedophile. Luckily, I have a large enough platform that I was able to put out a video, the truth, that was able to go through and enough people, obviously has like 13 million views or something to, have seen it, to where that doesn't happen. And that's something that, I've essentially cleared my name within, the community, but not within Tommy's community. And so my intention was essentially, you had two options after the Dream SMP ended, becoming a stupid Tommy Innit fan, or growing up. And obviously, I was frustrated. This is something that, obviously it's not nice. It's not something, I don't think that any of the things that Tommy said are nice, but it's not nice. And I think that I totally regret having used the word, or not having made a different meme, or I don't know, like cross it out, or whatever. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. That's not something that I don't want people feeling upset. And my biggest thing was, I don't want it to be a reasonable assumption from people that I don't like them or would discriminate against them because of anything really, but obviously because of the obvious things, because of race or sex or so on and so forth. And the same thing applies for, like, I don't want anyone to think that, because you're neurotypical or, whatever, that I don't like you, or that I think differently of you. I don't think that. This was an attack on on a particular group, large vocal group of Tommy's audience that I have a lot of problems with, that actually Tubbo mentions in his stream, which we'll go back to, that perpetuate and spread false lies about me. And Tommy supports it. Tommy probably, I don't know if he likes it, but he follows accounts that does it. He retweets accounts that, does it. And that is an issue, obviously, in my mind, that I think that obviously makes me view Tommy negatively for that, and also view his audience in that regard negative. I think it's very different separating, I guess maybe I should have said stan instead of fan as well. But anyway, just to say, that was also not an attack on Dream SMP fans in general. Like, I think people are also saying, oh, I thought you supported Dream SMP fans and so on and so forth. Yeah, I do. I don't think that every Dream SMP fan from back in the day was weird or cringe. I don't think that every stan from back in the day, or even on the Dream SMP, was weird or cringe. I don't think that. I've never thought that. Obviously, anyone that has watched 2 seconds of my content doesn't think that. Obviously, there was cringe behavior at different points. There were stans that were incredibly cringe, and there still are stans that are incredibly cringe. That'll always be the case. I'm sure that I'm sometimes cringe if I'm all decked out in, like, football, supporting my football team's gear, and I have like a stupid fuzzy pants on and a hat. Or it's for an outsider, it's like it's cringy, and it's based on obviously the context of whatever you love. And so it was not an attack on saying, oh yeah, everyone, all the Dream SMP stands, you can grow up and still be a Dream SMP stan. That wasn't, or a fan of the Dream SMP. That was not I wasn't saying, oh, you either grew out of it or whatever. It's like it's more like maturing. But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of an explanation for the lead up to my tweet. It was not to defend Trump. That obviously that's in my mind just like ridiculous. And it also was not, and it wasn't me attacking Tommy out of nowhere. It was something that has built up over time, something that Tommy obviously has been, it's been happening for a very long time.
Viral.
I just want to know what he...
Yeah, I think that's also bad.
Actually, I'll let it play.
That needs to be said. But like I said,
Well, I think it does need to be said. I think he says, right there, Tubbo just says, multiple people go viral calling me the R word and other words, and that he goes, obviously that's bad. I don't think that needs to be said. It does need to be said. If your community is taking part in that, and it's something that Tubbo, I'm sure, would agree with, and that Tommy in the past at least would have agreed with, if your community is taking part in it, retweeting things, liking things, it's something that you can say, clear up. I don't think that a lot of Tommy's fans think that. I don't think that they think that. I think that they genuinely would think, yeah, if it's Dream, it's fine. Genuinely, I think they would think that. Like, I think that's what they think. So him saying, obviously they don't think that. It's like, yeah, they do think that. They do think that. They don't look at me. They don't look at me as human. It's just the truth. A lot of like the Dream haters, whatever, don't look at me as human. They look at me as a terrible person that's done all these terrible things, that's evil. Therefore, I don't deserve to be treated like I'm a human, or I'm, whatever. And like, I think that that's something to be kept in mind or mentioned.